Alright, let's try to subtract rational functions. So the left side here already looks factored. We're going to leave that alone. Let's focus on the right hand side here. I can see that there's a minus sign here, so we need to apply the minus sign to the whole top. And we're going to factor the top. So what we have here is minus 2, minus 2. Now the bottom, we can pull out a negative 1. When you pull out a negative 1, that's the same thing as writing a plus sign here and changing this to x squared minus 4. So we're essentially distributing the negative sign to the first and second term. Let's rewrite this as x plus 2, x minus 2, difference of squares. We're going to cancel out the x minus 2, but we don't have to, because notice how the term on the left already has the same common denominator. So let's rewind a bit. Let's rewind by not canceling these out. So let's rewrite the top. Let's try to clean this up even a little bit more. The numerator as x minus 2 squared. And what we have now is we have this whole thing repeating twice. So this is equals to, the bottom is x plus 2, x minus 2. And the top is 2 of these. There's 2 times x minus 2 squared plus x minus 2 squared is simply 2 x minus 2 squared. If you really want to write it out twice, you could. And now we can finally cancel. So let's cancel these. And if you really want to expand, you could. I just like this answer in this form, it's fine. So when we're doing BEDMAS, make sure you do multiplying, dividing before you subtract. So let's just take care of the operations on the right hand side first. So I'm going to mindlessly just copy this on the left here. And we're going to focus on the numerator, difference of squares. I'm going to factor out the x. And we're going to change this to multiplication. That means we need to flip. The bottom ends up on the top here. We're just going to factor out the x. So this becomes 2x plus 1. And this ugly trinomial ends up on the bottom. And let's try to factor to see if we can get lucky here. 2x, x. Let's try 6 and 1. 2 times 6 is 13. And let's use plus signs. And then 1x becomes 2 times 6 is 12 plus 1 is 13, and they multiply to be correct. So this is factored in a correct way. So let's simplify a little bit. Let's cross out these. Notice how there's a multiplication symbol here. So we're just multiplying across. The x plus 2's cancel out. So let's clean this right term up a little bit. So let's continue towards right here. I'm just copying down the left term with a minus sign here. And what's on the bottom? We have an x, but these x's also cancel out. So we just have x plus 6 on the bottom over here. What's left over on the top? All we have here is x minus 2. Okay, so notice how we have a same common denominator. You could put some brackets here so you're not confused. So x plus 6 is a common denominator, and we're simply subtracting. X take away x is nothing. 1 minus negative 2 becomes 1 plus 2, which is 3. Finally, we have a simple algebra involving fractions, layers of fractions. So the numerator is going to be the same thing as x over x, that's 1. And we're dividing the whole thing by the denominator over here. And if you multiply top and bottom by x, our first term is going to be x squared over x, same thing as x, minus 1 over x. And notice how we have same denominators, so we can make some progress in simplifying. So we're going to have a common denominator of x. We have x plus 1. We're going to keep it divided by, and the common denominator is x. And the top is going to be x squared minus 1. Let's continue by converting the division to a multiplication. So we flip the numerator denominator. We have x, and the numerator here, let's just factor it into difference of squares. These cancel out very nicely, and so do these. So the only thing left is x minus 1 on the denominator. Okay, so it's your turn.